Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. A little something different. Last time we were doing a little bit of a shop project. Studs were on, and here the studs are back on. So, as you can see, this bike looks quite a bit different than what I had before. Now, if we take a walk over here, here's is the current state of my bike that you have seen in the videos. Here she is in all of its glory. The frame has absolutely been destroyed due to hard enduro purposes. Got all of this bike's use out of it. 452. I haven't shown that on YouTube yet, but we'll have some content on that in the summertime. Same with the trials bike. I want to get on that some more. Anyway, off topic. So anyway, this bike went in for some motor work. They said your frame shot, and pretty much the best option was to get a new bike, which is here's what we got. It's a 25 XPro used. Budget didn't like brand new, so this is one of Powerline Cycle's bikes, one of their demo bikes. So it was a 250. We took the 300 cylinder off of that motor, put it on this with a new cylinder and new piston rings, all that fun stuff. But anyway, here we go. This is going to be the start of a bike build. So we have a table full of parts here. New plastics, graphics, old headlight, aluminum subframe pulled off of that bike. If you want to see how it's installed, go back to my old videos. I'll get into this a little later. Can't use that. I gotta order a different one. SXS slide plate, Boyce and Rad valve, the Torque edition. Not gonna be using that either. There's a couple things I bought, but then saw other things and bought instead. So that being said, I bought the Enduro Engineering separate start-stop buttons, but then the more I thought about it, I didn't like it. And then I saw this billet aluminum start-stop button off of True North Moto. So this and that came from True North Moto. Make some pretty cool billet aluminum CNC stuff. This is a map switch relocation for the 2-stroke. I got the one for my 4-stroke on the 450 because I don't like the bar mounted map switch. So we got that custom wiring harness fuse box for the high output stator, which is here, Ricky stator. You know, headlight, fan, couple other things. AS3 billet aluminum ignition cover, power valve cover, another power valve cover for the opposite side. This one was a little overkill. I didn't really need it because it's behind the pipe. Front cable holders, because I gotta go all the way around. Take a walk over here. This thing has been so used and abused, and I think this is my second one. So I saw it for 10 bucks, so why not? I'm gonna be pulling off the R Enduro front rotor guard. I'm gonna be reusing that. Anyway, back over here. Fan off of my old bike. I'm gonna put this chain on. Bulletproof Designs clutch cover, AS3 billet aluminum water pump cover, Beta upgraded water pump. What else we got? This can't be used. New seat cover. Yep, I can't use the TM Designs chain guide with the Bulletproof Designs chain guide mount guard. So this is gonna go on the 450. Coming back over here. So the reason I can't use this throttle tube, because I got this. So been waiting for this for a long time. Our Enduro billet aluminum throttle housing. Now what I didn't know, because I'm a dumbass, is these are only able to use ODI lock-on grips. So they give you this ODI adapter. This does not fit stock throttle tubes, unfortunately. I wish I knew that before I bought it, but I bought this and this throttle tube, which is stock fitment, same day. So I need to get the aluminum ODI throttle tube to be able to use this. And then I got the Enduro front brake unbreakable lever. So that is about that. So yeah, that seat is off of my old bike. I didn't want to reuse that seat cover because it's shot. I got a new one. These I don't know if I'm going to be able to use. I might have to modify the brake side with the Enduro front rotor guard. The other side will definitely work. But yeah, Flatland Racing pipe guard. Love these things. These things take the abuse. And yeah, not using those hand guards. I'm going to be trying out the SXS heavy duty ones. So same brand that makes skid plate. I think it's about the same thickness as a skid plate. So yeah, that is what's going on this thing. Just wanted to show you this thing up close. Billet aluminum start stop button. Pretty cool. Where's the stock one? The stock one's just all plastic. You know, a little bit beefier, but I got this easy guard on. I got the Enduro front brake lever on. I had moved it just to give myself some room to work, but that's on there. I got my easy clutch system on. I got the fan switch. Obviously no fan yet because I don't want to get too into it. Map switch. Put my watch on. And then new start stop button. Well, since it was easy and a couple bolts, put on this nice AS3 power valve cover. Little overkill, something I didn't really need, but one, should be a little stronger of a cover compared to stock, you know, heavier duty, take some rocks. So that was my excuse for buying it. But yeah, heavier duty, and it looks just freaking sweet on there. So I'm gonna keep going. Okay, next day. Figured we're getting like over a foot of snow, so I can't ride this thing anyway for a couple weeks until we get that snow melts. Love this fucking light. Move it wherever. I probably shouldn't move it on there because it might fall, but yeah, I got the tank off, plastics. I'm gonna start the subframe, kind of work around that. Probably subframe. Once that's off, I gotta probably put on the Boyce and rad valve. Well, that's all off. I think, since I'm not good with jetting, I'm gonna bring it up to a local mechanic who's a fucking whiz. So yeah, subframe, probably put in the stator too, because I gotta do this whole wiring harness. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. I have done this once before, so yeah, here we go again. Alright, old one out, new one about to go in. Suppose this is their torque edition. It says it somewhere. So hoping this thing's gonna help me with some low end power. My bench is an absolute disaster right now. Disaster. But yeah, hopefully this works. And yeah, going in there. Okay, I can't, I'm having a fucking brain fart right now. Boyce and rad valve in. Got the carb back in. Aluminum subframe on. I think I gotta loosen some stuff up to fit the wiring in there. I think that happened to me last time too. But yeah, chugging along. I think what I have to do is get that wiring in, do the stator, put that in with the cover, and yeah, that might be it for today. Maybe fan. I gotta see if my fan brace is even gonna fit. Here it is. Looks like it will, with some slight modifications. This thing was all smashed up on the old bike. Yeah, we'll make that work. Just gotta bend these tabs a little more straight and she should work. But don't want to get too ahead of myself. Get that in here. Stator, work on my wiring back. Stator involves some pretty technical wiring, which won't be fun. But everything's kind of there. I just gotta put it in, plug it in, and should be good. Alright, cruising right along. Got the magneto cover off. Come over here to my... If you scroll way down on my YouTube channel, you'll find this bike, which is also there, and over there my XR100, my very first bike. I actually have two now. My first one is here. I'm gonna do a build on it. I got all kinds of parts, poured and polished head, whatever. I'm getting off topic. I've got another one where I got a big bore kit, so I have a whole nother one which which is this motor that I would like to sell to use the money for this, but this has been apart for 3 years now, and yeah, anyway. AS3 Performance factory shit. I'm a factory rider, boys. Look at that. Not really. Ricky stator, high output stator, stock stator, stock cover, billet aluminum. I gotta steal the dowels out of this, put in here, and yeah, reinstall on this bad boy. All right, this side is done. This thing's gonna look pretty sweet when it's done, but yeah, she's all plugged in. Now I guess we'll do something. Probably get this fan. I gotta tighten that before I keep forgetting. This bench is such a mess. There we go. But yeah, billet heavy duty ignition cover and power valve cover. Another billet slave cylinder guard. So here, I really don't like these plastic guards. I never had too many issues with this side, the ignition side, but on the clutch side I would always have leaks, and I feel like they just trap so much dirt, so I figured spend a little extra money, get the heavier duty covers, and I hope that lasts, because the plastic I'm just not a fan of. So yeah, what do I got left to do on this side? I got the fan and something else. There was something else I had to do over here. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Fan and headlight. Headlight should be fairly easy. I gotta get wire or plugs for it. Might just hook it up the same I had it, but I want to get some better plugs. But yeah. Alright, so I got some of these wires in, secured. I gotta clean up this stuff because it's a little messy. Put in the fuse box for all the aftermarket stuff, but I'm gonna call it for today because I've been going at it for a little bit here, and yep, I shall return. Okay. Been a few days, but here we are. I got the aftermarket custom wiring harness in, custom fuse box, little hideaway switch for the headlight. It's really about it. A lot of wires, putting it in the right spots, making sure, you know, disconnect, put back in, to route it the right way. Lots of zip ties, clean it up so it's not a mess. This still is a mess because I gotta do the fan. So I gotta drain coolant down now, put the fan on, wire that up, and then once that's wired up, this wiring can all go back in there. Nice. And then I have on the way the ODI billet throttle tube, and I use motosport.com, and I needed to spend like $7 more to get free shipping. So instead of spending $7 more, I spent like $250 and got a FMF slip-on, which is on the way. I'm told with the FMF gnarly and that FMF 2.1, she does pretty good in some low-end conditions, which this is the stock pipe, but I have a new gnarly in there, I think, I hope. So yeah, that's gonna be going on here. And then Well, I'm gonna drain the coolant now, and when that's draining, I gotta do water pump, or the upgraded water pump. Keep the thing cooler. Fancy water pump cover. Extra protection, and yeah. Then after that, it's kind of some little odds and ends, but we're almost there. I think I'm gonna get another Lucioli for this wheel. Obviously, after stud season, I'm gonna mount up this Bridgestone. I forget what it is. X50, I think it's called. E50. If I can even get it out of my freaking. Jeez. Oh yeah, too much traction. E50 Extreme 140 gummy. So, ran this once before. Had some pretty decent luck with it. So far out of my tire testing, I know I'm going off track here, but I really like this Dunlop EN91EX. I run the Lucioli tube, 7mm thick, 2 built-in bead locks, and that thing is flat. More traction. I gotta get on this thing more. I know I already said that in this video, but I bought this instead, and I rode that a lot towards the end of the year. So stay tuned on this. I already said that too. But yeah, I want to try and get this fan on so I can finish up wiring. Like I said, while I'm there, I'm going to do some of this stuff over here. Clutch cover, water pump, all that fun stuff. I don't even know what time it is. Probably not going to get all this done today. 8:21. Fun. We're getting there. Definitely getting there. Oh yeah. Useless cover that I bought, didn't need, but here it is. Upgraded. I should have fucking took it out side by side. Upgraded water pump, so it sticks out a lot more. So if you look at the stock one, focus, the impellers are much thinner compared to these. They're a lot wider, so they give you this little spacer to make up that space, and some longer bolts. But anyway, didn't get to do the fan, took the radiator off, but I need rivets to put my bracket on, so I changed directions. I'm gonna do that, then the clutch cover while I'm here, and I don't have a gnarly FMF, so I'm gonna get that. Something I don't need, but I'll get it. Plus I have spare pipes, so yeah. There we go. Clutch cover on, water pump complete. Oh yeah. I do still have to put oil on this before I ride, before I start this thing. But yeah, one step closer. Little beta tech tip: take one of your old hoses, cut it, zip tie it right here, coming right out of the water pump, because I had a, what happens is the exhaust gets so close to that over time that it rubs a hole in the hose, and then obviously you leak. So, and especially being that you have the spacer, me, for the supercooler, it's going to push it out even more. So just taking all those, zip tie it right on there, and get a little added protection. See if I can show you over here. I mean, this bike has plenty of clearance, but sometimes when that header gets all bent, it'll get pretty close to it, and I just backed right into my charger. Jeez. Battery tender for the 450. Back in business. Fancy light. But anyway, I'm gonna show you that. Picked up some rivets this morning. Got my fan mounted up. So bracket's definitely a little bit bent, but she'll work. It's going back on. What does I get? I got some this. I got a plug, nice watertight plug, and a switch, because plug I have in there now, it's just like one of the shitty here, I'll show you. Right now it's just all taped up, and it's like one of the cheap Harbor Freight connectors, which I've never liked from the beginning. So that's gonna go. Place it with that fancy plug so I can take it on and off easily without dealing with this mess. The switch I'm gonna put, if I can get this up, probably hidden right in here on either side, because this switch works and it's out of the way, but I don't really like it there. Kind of a pain, and connections aren't really the best. Let's see, it should still work. Yeah. So I don't know, I think I might move this just up there to keep it out of here, and if I want to put something there, I can put something there. So yeah, I'm gonna get to mounting radiator back on. I gotta put coolant in it and oil, which I'm not gonna do to the end, I think, but mount that, do some wiring, more wiring. The wiring never ends. So yeah, I gotta reroute the switch and that plug, and then I don't know what else I gotta do today, because I'm waiting on throttle tube, exhaust. So yeah, I got some little shit to do, but we're getting there. Yeah, I absolutely hate this style plug. They fall out constantly. And plus I didn't like how inaccessible they were. It just took me like 5 minutes just to get to these, peel all the electrical tape off. So new plug, wire and a switch. I think what I'm gonna do is tie the switch into this side of the plug, so you can take switch, light, everything right off, and eliminate this wiring here. Probably gonna leave that switch just in case I want to do something with it at some point, but yeah. Alright, switch taken out of the loop. So let's show you what I got, what I'm working with over here. If anything will stay, hold it with my fucking gut. New plug on, new connectors there, switch in here, still out of the way but a little easier accessible, and obviously maybe not obviously, somewhat easy to unplug with two hands. there we go. I'm just gonna clean it up, zip tie it in there, and that would be that for wiring. And then obviously if I get a new light at some point, kind of the same deal. Alright, I'll put this bad boy on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. All the wiring is tucked back into its home. Oh, except for alright, now the wiring should all be done. Alright. Everything's tucked in here, zip tied up. You got clearance for the bars both ways. Fan comes on. Over here. Headlight comes on, off. Tucked in nice. No hang-ups anywhere. Here's another thing I did. This clutch line, stock, these lines, bring up the surgical light. This line goes through this little hook here, but since I run my clutch levers so far in, so I can just have one or two fingers on the outside, get the most leverage, pushes the perch all the way in. So all I did to not have so much tension on it, on the cable, I moved the line from here and here, just took the bolt out for the screen, moved it over, tucked this line in, just so it's not so like kinked. Like if I'll show you over here, I might do it on his bike, but see, that's like a straight 90, which I'm not a fan of. Wonder how it is on my 450. It doesn't have the little clamp to hold it. It's kind of a bigger bend. Damn, this clutch is stiff. Going from this clutch to that clutch is ridiculous. I should move those levers farther in. Got that from the Supercross guys. Move your levers far in. So I don't like it so much for the front brake. I like to be able to kind of get most of my fingers on there if I need to. But for the clutch, I mean, look how far in that is. So I can ride like this, one finger. I can still get two on, but I'm using the outside of the lever, more leverage, rather than having this out. You're gripping here, you get a lot less leverage. So this kind of makes life easier, I feel. But this R-Enduro Easy Clutch is so nice. Such a light pull. Now I gotta find out what I want to do next. So, Bulletproof Designs chain guide guard mounted up. Nice. No more bent tabs. So yeah. Alright, we're gonna try something. I already did it, but ultra heavy duty tube, 4 millimeters thick. I got a spare piece here. Not bad. Just cut it up, zip tied it to the frame, so hopefully we don't damage it, or you know, at least this can take a little bit of the blow. Obviously skid plate going in there too, SXS skid plate. So yeah, get it on there. Sweet. Skid plates on. Some busted knuckles from that. Went to tighten. My knuckles caught this little lip. So, really, all I can do at the moment is probably take off my front rotor guard, put that on, and then besides that, I'm waiting on parts. My throttle tube should be in today, as well as the FMF silencer. I got the gnarly coming this week, the header. So yeah, once we get that stuff, it's kind of all you know, reassemble plastics, all that fun stuff. So yeah, probably just throw that front rotor guard on and I'm done for the day. Oh, I'm still waiting on handguards too, same brand, SXS. Got their burly handguards, which I think made out of that same material or same thickness, so it's pretty thick plastic. So yeah, alright, so I've been chugging away at this for a while now. Got 99% of it done. We had some snowstorms, some weekends, but yeah, I have a few minor details to work out still. Like the tank doesn't really want to fit on right. I might need to move some wiring around. I think that may be causing that. I was just in a rush. I want to see it done after weeks of it being apart. I got to look at this seat, which may have something to do with the tank. I always see online that the regular RR seat, I might be able to do it over here with one hand. There we go, there's one. So this little butt plug, we'll call it, because that's what it looks like, is different on, there we go. Depending on your pleasure, the RR one is a little shorter than the RX model, and because that aluminum subframe is off of the RX, let's see if I can do this one-handed. Oh yeah, one hand. This one doesn't go on as easy. Because I have the aluminum subframe, it's technically supposed to be the RX, but I've never had an issue on this bike with it. It always fit great, came on and off nice, but this one does not. And it's the same frame, it's at the same seat, same tank. It does not want to be very friendly with me, so I gotta mess with that. This I had to like pull down to get it to fit, so I think there's some wiring in the way. I need to put coolant in it still, so we're gonna leave that there as a reminder. As long as the cap off, I've got to tap some threads into the frame so I can put the overflow line there. I gotta put in an air filter. I will clean them. Chain. I'll probably just run this chain and sprocket setup until the end of winter and then swap out to my 1350 that I run. I think this is a 13, but it's pretty shot, so I'll just run that for the end of winter. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this. If I have, then great. S3 Extreme head. So this is supposed to give you the same thing, more bottom end, more torque. So I was thinking about that for years, a year or two, whatever, and I finally broke down and I got it. I figured I'm here doing all this work, putting a lot of money into this. I'm like, what's another $150? I think I went a little overkill on this. I really have. But yeah, FMF gnarly in the front, 2.2 in the back. I didn't have the extra 200 to get the titanium. I mean, I do, but for the same thing, I'm not going to get the titanium for it just to get scratched and destroyed anyway. So yeah, that's about that. I think I talked about this already. Got that on our Enduro with the ODI. It's obviously not the lock-on grip. I just got the ODI aluminum throttle tube with the bearing. So that's nice and buttery smooth now. What else? I think that's it. So, like I said, a couple minor things and we're ready to rip. I'm so excited to ride this bike and the 450. This bike more so. Even though it's going to get destroyed in a month. I hope not. So, yeah.